Okay, everyone. So this evening is going to be tiny little Lego figures number 2 and also a test of some more of the systems we've got at Brooks. So this is going to be using the Logitech StreamCam, which is basically the pro camera which we put together. This is the one that will run at 60 frames per second at 1080p. I should also say this is using Logitech Capture software, so using their own internal software as opposed to running it via Zoom. So that's why things will look a little bit different. And I'm also running this through a Plantronics headset. We had originally intended to use one of the Samsung microphones. So we have these out as basically backup units, but I just can't get the levels right. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if I need to be running this through a preamp or something, but the software is just not prepared to pick it up. So that's just how things are. So that's off the list for the moment. There's a possibility that the mini XLR cable itself has got damaged. Unclear on that one, but we'll see what we can do. So as I said, I'm going with the headset and the camera. And I'm also using, well, in terms of lighting, I've realized quite how bright studio lights have to be. I'm sure you've heard YouTubers go, oh my God, the studio lights. But what I'm actually using for it is some grow lights for planting. And yeah, which is fine. That'll do okay. I just need to remember in the future to do this during the day, when it actually makes a bit more of a difference. Doing it at 9:30 at night may be part of the issue with trying to get some decent material. Anyway, sorry, enough of me rabbiting on. You came here to see the Lego. So I did show a little bit of yesterday's one to some of my colleagues, and that got good response. We had a look, and there's a lot more Space Police stuff I really, really wish I'd got, which does mostly seem to involve glowing sticks holding in space pirates, but there's a very sort of angular shark-like view to a lot of their stuff. This one is going to be slightly different. So this is Ice Planet 2002. I've just realized we were going to do a different one today, but well, we'll just do that tomorrow. And one of these a night will give us the best options. So sorry, just give me 1 second. The software was complaining at me for being not optimized, whatever the fuck that means. I don't care. Whatever it is it's complaining about, I don't really give a damn, because I'm giving it all I can, and I've quite frankly got a decent, good enough processor and whatnot to keep this running. So anyway, ignoring that, complaining at me, we're going to be having a look at some of the Ice Planet stuff. So yeah, I had more of this than any of the space stuff. I had this somewhere. There was a weather satellite launcher, which I'm pretty sure I've got the parts for, but God knows what the instructions are. And then a few other bits and pieces. But today we're going to be looking at the Ice Tunnellator, which is one hell of a name. And again, nice simple one. So this is going to be about maybe 5-10 minute video. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Wow, these little Pocket Money ones really were quite simple. So just to show as well, with the minifigs, they all had this sort of weird blonde look to them. Again, you've got the, just to indicate that he is a spaceman, he's got the old divers thing on it. And then what appears to be an environmental suit. And the key thing with these was, if you see here, you've got this light gathering plastic. So you can see, if I just hold it up to the light, you can see just around the edges starts to glow. Not a lot. I don't know if that is nature of the well, it looks a lot more glowy on in person than it does on screen, but trust me that you get this sort of glowing effect around the edges, though very limited in the technology at the time. I think light gathering plastic definitely improved a lot more during the 90s, and yeah, I suppose this tied in with their old fiber optic stuff they went with later on with Lego Technic. Anyway, let's just put your helmet back on. And then, as you can see, specialist visor unit, which makes him look more spaceman-y. And yeah, there's your astronaut ice climber man person. And hopefully now I've got it running at 1080p, you can see this a little bit better. So here's the instructions. Again, this was a Pocket Money unit, so really quite simple. And yeah, I think possibly simpler than the last one. I honestly couldn't say. I would say this probably costs a couple of quid. No more than £5 in today's money. So let's put that there so you can see what we're building. If there is any twitching with the camera, please ignore that. There is an orientation sensor, so it's not really designed for this top-down stuff, which I've just found as a fault, which I will be logging. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you come back here and stay there. So, let's see if I can. So this is part of the learning experiences that we're going through and adjusting the lighting as we go. That's better. There you go. So you got a bit more correction to it, and so you can see the Lego figures. I will eventually get this to the point where it's usable. And just put in our little. I do need to check what these are called because I have so many of them. It's just a pin, Grey Technic pin. So I suppose this was the bit where Lego Technic stuff started to bleed into the regular Lego to give it a bit more, well, articulation more than anything else. Anyway, so there's your basics. And we will just put this little seat on here. And again, these kits were very simple, basically, as I said before, designed, I suspect, more than anything as party favors for kids. Well, I mean, I'll put it this way. If I was going to be purchasing them now for a small child, that's how I will be buying them. Again, you've got your little skis, which, yeah, you've got a basically a maintenance rack on the back, and then he's got his little skis. And away you go, because skis are made of lasers in this universe, apparently, or whatever. Yeah, I suppose I'm not really this is the first time I've seen these small skis, and one thing that they never really did much with is, you see here, that is a link into some of the small scale armature stuff they used to do. So you could possibly use those for building like some kind of like light skiing mech, or maybe something along those lines. Or I suppose if you wanted to make a tiny Mammoth Mark II from, if anyone remembers Tiberian Sun, possibly, but now we are speculating. And I am totally drawing this out because this little one is tiny in comparison. We do have some more advanced ones coming on. I'm going to be doing some of the early Technic stuff. Some of the Technic I'm probably going to give away because I think there was a bit in the 90s when they were really struggling for ideas, and I just don't like the designs anymore. I mean, there's one where it's, oh, you can disconnect this and turn this into 8 different vehicles. It's like, yeah, all the vehicles are crap. I don't want to do that. Like, you know, I've got a BMW motorcycle up there. That's cool, but you know, a 3-wheeled whatever. It's like, eh. So there you go. This again, very, very simple. I mean, I'm sure they call it a tunnellator, but I'm sure it's more like a drilling skiv, I suppose. But yeah, that's it. That's what the very small ones used to look like. You know what? I'm going to be... Oh, I just noticed that. 20 points of some kind. God knows what kind of points they were. Gives its code and also the date. So 1993. So I would have been about, I don't know, 5 or 6 when I bought this. Well, when it was bought for me. Yeah. So as that was such a short one, I mean, it was a tiny kit. I will be getting some of the bigger ones out. I'm going to grab the other mini Ice Planet one, and we'll have a look at him next. Okay, jump cut to next. Lego model. So this is the other tiny mini one I have, which is even simpler. This is barely even double-sided sheet. Again, I think this would probably be even simpler, even cheaper one. but it gives you the kind of idea of what, you know, the average kid would generally get with Lego. So just put together another Ice Miner, Iceman, whatever they were. So, oh, and just to see a little bit of the behind the scenes, the way I've been storing the Lego men is like this, which I appreciate is macabre, but this is the weird thing. Just look at these heads. There's a lot of the spacemen seem to have these comm systems. I know it's supposed to be seen from inside a helmet, but it really looks like it's been grafted onto them, which is, I don't think was what Lego was going for, but it does give it this weird sort of cyberpunk look to it. Anyway, so we'll just put him together. And somewhere I've got a body with a glow-in-the-dark hook hand, which is from the Ocean Explorers ones. Of course, it's the evil sharks, but that was a bit strange. Anyway, so let's make sure he's popped together. So there's your Iceman, and this is referred to as a scooter. This thing, I mean, personally, I would say it's either a land speeder or an air skimmer. I mean, if we're going to be going by the space names for things, but scooter it is, I suppose. Scoots about. And again, you can see very, very simple. So why I want to get these ones out of the way first is so that we had a little bit of, well, basically so I could clear out sections as fast as possible in my kits, and I didn't want to have to go for anything which was going to be too Herculean an effort to put together. So there we go. Again, please excuse the fact these are not in the best shape. These are almost as old as I am, and I was probably a little young for these. So just pop him together like so. I must admit, this one is so simple, I'm barely even following the instructions. I'm just sort of assembling it based on what I think it should look like. That's not that stable, but it'll do. That might possibly be some damage. And then you can see, here's your tiny little, get that in focus. There's your tiny little command panel. Somewhere I found it a couple of years ago, somebody did a complete analysis of the various different computer systems shown in Lego, and from a GUI point of view. Okay, fine, that's interesting. And yeah, I mean, if you're interested in fake Lego GUI designs, then that is a thing. And well, that one wonky bit's going to be held on with that. And this is the bit that's slightly odd, is usually that should come with basically some kind of tool. But in this instance, I mean, I suppose you could do it like that, but it's supposed to just sit side by side, which is strange, because you can see there it is. I suppose just to give the concept of a saw rather than an actual saw. But sure, Lego, why not? Put those together again. I think it may, not quite sure why that's not holding together. These may possibly not be the same generation. These may be older ones. I can't quite. This is the problem, is that I'm sort of trying to eyeball it by discoloration, but well, they're either the same age as me or older than I am, so it's difficult to tell. Anyway, there's your mans. And just stalling for time a little bit. There he is with his little control console. Yeah, very much in the theme of the pocket money ones that we've been talking about previously. And yeah, nice enough. If I had a couple of quid, I'd be happy with that. I mean, it's Lego if nothing else, and you got yourself a little Trotsky. And also just quite a lot of, also you get reasonable amount of bits with them. I mean, some of the specialist bits, like these wheels, and as far as I could tell, were only ever really issued for the space things. If I have a quick look at the, so here we are going back to Bricklink. I mean, they're just done as white wheel hard plastic, but I most of the sort of terrestrial stuff had tires, whereas this is this sort of, you know, I've never really, I'm trying to think if I've ever really seen anything with this kind of style. Maybe some sort of maybe some kind of ATV things, but yeah, it's almost uniquely Lego-y. So there we go with our two little ice planets, guys. I'm still not quite sure which 2002. I mean, were they being ambitious to go, oh, we'll get this, and are we going to be mining Pluto or Titan in the next 10 years? It's yeah, oddly ambitious if that's what they were going for, because it doesn't even match up with the codes. So Space 1999, maybe a reference. I mean, it's, yeah, that's all I can think of is just 3 more than Space 1999. Anyway, again, nice little video we've done here, and I'm still getting to grips with the equipment, which I appreciate. I should probably know more than this, but it's just the way things are. I do have some high definition. I do also have a 4K camera. I'm going to give that a go, but I'm not sure if that's really going to be worth it, to be honest, at my level. None of this equipment is over it's over £100 or so. I mean, this camera is 80 quid, which is fine, but you go see you know, your Techmoans or your Sniper and Wib or, you know, anyone else, they're going to be rocking up like £1,000 worth of parts. Whereas I've thrown this together for what, including the headphones, which are my headphones, is less than £300 of parts here, and I didn't really need the headphones. I could probably find a good, well, I've got a mic I could use for significantly less than that. But yeah, onwards with the project, and we'll see where it goes next. Talk to you guys later.